Coming to you live. If you've been waiting for our show to start at noon Eastern, I apologize for the delays. There are some major technical difficulties as usual. Because I'm traveling and I'm in San Diego, I'm letting Ingrid and Kristen try to figure some things out on their end. And for whatever reason, it wasn't working. I don't blame them. It's not the easiest thing to run. I wish I would have done a better job maybe teaching them how to do some things. But more importantly, I did not want to leave you guys hanging. So I'm going to let you guys come in. Again, I can't apologize enough. One of the things I love about my business is you guys, chicken people are just the best people. And it's why I do this show week in and week out. So I see you guys are coming in. Thank you so much. Please leave the comments down below. Wave high, engage with us. So important. So today is a really cool thing. For the first time ever, we are doing Video Chicken Live on scene, and it's kind of cool. If you don't already know this man, is Epic Gardening. Oh, actually, I got to turn my green screen off. Sorry about that. It's kind of funky. Don't need that. There we go. Really cool place that we're going to talk about today. Kevin is actually on his way here. He did say he would sit in, kind of act as our guest speaker, which is going to be really cool. The man's really smart when it comes to gardening. So there you are coming in. Thank you. Make sure I sound good, too. I have no fancy equipment. I just got my laptop and a picnic table, which can't get any better than that anyways. So yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. But what we're going to talk about today, hopefully if we have no technical difficulties, is, well, we're putting together a Carolina Coop. So I'm going to go ahead and go over there. And give me a thumbs up. Make sure I sound good. Will they finish the coop today? All right, good. So you guys are paying attention. Sounds good on my end. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, very good. All right, so I don't know. I tell you, I'm not real happy. It's 9:25 right now, and they should have been here by now, and I don't know why they're not. And also our guest for today, Kevin from Epic Gardening, is on his way here. He's running a little bit behind, but definitely wanted to talk to him about everything he's got going on here. So if you guys have any questions about anything, just go ahead and ask. As usual, I'm just going to do this off the cuff, and I am just walking around with my laptop. But there is that beautiful Carolina Coop that we shipped out back in, I think it's October, and Kevin from Epic Gardening reached out originally, I want to say last spring. And what's going on here is something I've never done before, and I'm assuming I can say it, but Kevin has a huge following on YouTube, over 1.5 million subscribers, and of course a huge Instagram. He's just huge on social media. And so, and there he is right there. We're live. You want to come in and say hi to everyone? Let's do it. See, I tell you, I love, the reason why I like this guy, I was just about to talk about you too, is he reminds me of me a little bit. Hey. So this is Kevin.
How's it going, guys?
So we're live right now. We had a lot of technical difficulties, so I just decided to fire up my laptop and wing it.
Let's do it.
And people are coming in. But did you bring me a cup of coffee?
I wish I remembered. I'm sorry. I saw one on the table there. I thought it might have been yours.
No worries. So again, if you guys have any questions, so what we want to talk about today is Kevin is, can I call you a master gardener?
Actually, no, because master gardener is a real term that you have to earn, and I have yet to go through that process. It's a government sort of thing.
So I'm glad you said that, because it was a slight trick question.
Yeah.
One of the girls that has done a lot of marketing for us is a master gardener, and she made mention, oh no, you got to have special.
Can't say it.
Yeah, you can't say it. But you are definitely a master at social media, which is how you kind of reached out to us to help promote our product, and at the same time just wanted to kind of talk about and share with our viewers what you're doing here and how the Coop's going to get involved. And literally Kevin just walked in right there, so I put him on the spot. That was another test. I'm always testing people.
He certainly is. I'll tell you that
look, he hasn't even put his backpack down. So I'm going to bring in the comments over here, and I'm going to try to do this the best I can. And I guarantee you my battery on my laptop's not going to last long, but at least we can do something. And maybe a little later today, you did mention about us doing something on your channel?
We're doing a video together. So with myself and Matt, because obviously on my channel it's mostly gardening, but tying the chickens to the garden is going to be really important for me, which is why I've got this beautiful Carolina work in progress over here. And what I want to do is I asked all the people on Epic, hey, what questions do you have about chicken coops and chickens? And we're going to do a rapid fire. I'm going to put you in the hot seat, Matt. And we're going to ask Matt 25 questions about chicken coops on my channel. So
I love being in the hot seat. I love it. Drives Ingrid nuts. I'm like, yeah, rapid fire that. I mean, I think you guys love that out there. So I can't wait. Yeah, you had a bazillion questions come in.
So many.
Nice.
Like, does the color of the egg change the flavor? You know, all sorts of questions like that.
Yeah, and there were some questions. I tell you, I thought I've heard all the questions. No. You got some interesting questions coming at you. Any idea what time we might do that?
I mean, I'm game whenever you're game. So
Man
let's
after
go.
my own heart. No schedule, no plan. That's how we do our best work, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. He called it riffing yesterday.
Riffing.
Riffing.
We're just riffing.
Riffing.
Throwing
I'm
ideas out there.
learning a lot of new terms. So if you're just joining us, we are live right now. It is February 4th in beautiful San Diego, California. We're on site putting this Carolina Coop together. My guys aren't here yet. I was hoping they were going to be because I wanted to show you guys some things about construction and a little bit behind the scenes of how we do things. But let's go ahead. I am dying to show and talk about a question that comes up a lot. And I want to get your opinion because, again, you are a gardener. I mean, I heard you guys talk with your team yesterday about things. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So it's awesome. So I'm going to show what's going on here.
Yeah.
And maybe, Kevin, if you... boy, is this sunny.
It's sunny.
So we got, you're growing vegetables.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we've got, garlic, leeks, onions. We've got cabbage, potatoes, Brussels sprouts, radish. I mean, anything you can grow in a winter garden we got going on here.
Do you enjoy those things? Like, are they for your salad? I mean, why are you growing these specifically?
Honestly, everything I'm growing right now, with the exception of the radish, I love to eat. Radish, I have to prepare it in certain ways to like to eat. Like, I have to pickle it or slice it really thin, but a lot of the times I'm growing something because it's interesting too. You know, just because the botanics of it, it's interesting to grow. And, you know, to show it off. If someone else likes it, doesn't mean I shouldn't grow it just because I don't like it. We're growing for everyone else too.
Very nice. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Now, I can't remember, have you ever had chickens before?
Never. Jacques, our garden hand here, he does have chickens. So he's right around the corner.
Yeah, where is Jock? Is he going to be here in a little bit?
He might be. I think he's dealing with something at the warehouse right now.
He's a good dude. You got a good guy there. That was a good team up right there. All right, so you're going to have chickens, and you're still working out what breeds you're going to get.
Yep. That's where I'm kind of hoping to lean on your expertise, honestly.
Yeah, we had a fun conversation yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some sushi, and Matt was dropping knowledge on breeds, breed personalities, types, variations on the feathers, egg colors. It was fascinating. Yeah,
so I love what you do with your channel where you just really explain it very simple and you do a great job at it. And that's what I always try to do is, and I hope that you obviously will do the same thing, is just educating people. Here's what you just need to know about chickens, you know, and one of the biggest misconceptions people have is that's going to be hard, it's going to be complicated. And I tell people all the time, it's all about the coop. And even Jock mentioned yesterday, it's the easiest thing he's had.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it even easier, especially with this Carolina.
I'm so excited about this.
Going in. So what do you think so far about the coop? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, it's 6 by 18 feet. I mean, that's big. And my shed is right here. My shed's 8 by 10 feet. It's a little bit taller, but it's going to kind of have the same look, the same vibe, which I'm excited about. But really, I'm excited. I mean, man, you probably hear this all the time, but the construction and craftsmanship of it is on another level.
Thank you.
I mean, it really is, because I had this shed built, and these guys were fantastic. I look at the shed, and I look at the Carolina Coop, and the quality is just drastically different. And let's just say the shed wasn't cheap, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, the craftsmanship on it, but the thought, too. Like, even just asking you about the screens here. Like, you would say, okay, it's just a screen, who cares what it's made out of? And you're like, no, it is, you know, what it was, a 16 gauge galvanized something with PVC black coating, and it's black so you can see through it, so you can enjoy the chickens. Every literal material, it seems like you've thought through many times over, which I know now to be the case.
Thank you. Yeah, we have, you know, and that's one of the things I try to explain to people is that we're chicken people.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into this business originally. And there are so many things we have learned, and we're always learning. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So now, here's a question we get a lot. Can I keep chickens around my garden? And we talked about this yesterday.
Yep.
And I would love to just kind of maybe have that conversation again. And if you have any questions, I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah.
And of course, Kristen, I see you're there. Ingrid, I'm not sure if you are there. They're both fabulous with gardening and know a lot of stuff, and she's doing the same thing. So let me again real quick show what's going on here. So this is, if you ever watch Karate Kid, I felt like Daniel LaRusso coming into your backyard yesterday, and it was just like going to Miyagi's dojo for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love this. So how many acres do you have here on your property?
Not even a third.
Not even a third.
Yeah, it's about 13,000 square foot lot, and growable space is maybe 10 of that. 9 or 10 of that, something like that.
So here's what I love about it. What I see is the future.
Yeah.
And this is what I want more people to realize is very doable. And it's very I imagine the satisfaction of growing your own food has got to be incredible.
I mean, look, so this back patch right here, this is garlic. You show that off. That's almost 200 heads of garlic. I mean, I probably won't even use that much this year, but then it's the varieties you can grow. You go to the store, you get white garlic. That's it. California early is the one that we get here in California, at least. There's 15 to 20 types of garlic right there, and it's not that hard to grow. And it lasts forever. So what's the difference between buying it? You get way more variety, you get way more flavor, and you get the satisfaction of pulling that thing out of the ground, you know?
See, I love that.
Yeah.
And I know more and more homes are going to be doing this. And what I love that you're doing is like what we're trying to do with Chicken Coops is you're just educating people that is very doable.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just talking, you're walking the walk, showing people how to do it. And here is the marriage between gardening and chickens. So important. I was telling Kevin yesterday, you will not believe the power of chicken manure when it comes to growing. Now, I am not a gardener by any means, but we have actually on accident used a lot of chicken droppings. I know it's getting warm.
It's getting warm out
Woo!
here.
I love how beautiful it is here. The power of chicken droppings with gardening. Now, have you had any thoughts yet now when it comes to how you may use the chicken droppings starting?
Here's what I know, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. I know that chicken manure is high nitrogen, right? And I know it typically in our world we call it a hot fertilizer. It's typically active right away. It doesn't need to be broken down too much. And so sometimes if you overuse the chicken manure, you can burn like sensitive plants, right? And so my thought was either cleaning it out and sort of waiting a little bit to let it cool down, or maybe mixing it into a stagnant compost pile. Sometimes, I got this huge compost pile, I haven't built a bin yet. Once I build that bin, I'm gonna need to restart that composting process, dump a huge hunk of chicken manure right in the middle, heat that thing up, and let it go. So my thought was mixing it into my composting op before I put it back out in the garden.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
To my understanding. Again, I am not an expert, but it just makes sense. When we did a video 2 or 3 years ago with in Santa Fe, New Mexico, with our horticulturalist Bethany, and she explained the difference when you're composting. Let's go over here. I want to make sure we don't lose Wi-Fi.
You might lose it over here.
Uh-oh. Are we losing Wi-Fi? And I'm shaking like crazy, and it's only because I am holding a laptop. Give me some thumbs up. Make sure we still sound good.
Oh, there we go. Good angle here.
Not bad. Some good lighting.
Yeah.
It was all intentional. Anyways, so here you have this wonderful back of the hen house deep litter system.
Yeah.
And again, we're under construction right now. If you're just joining us, and of course we're live in San Diego, California, putting a chicken coop together for Kevin from Epic Gardening. And I love what you're going to do. So when you do go to clean out your hen house, you're going to have 12 inches of a year to 2 to 3 years worth of chicken droppings.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can just take it right over to, I think you mentioned somewhere over here.
We're going to do a 3-bin system right over here.
What do you mean by 3-bin system?
So with composting, if you're doing a hot compost system, you're usually using a bin of some kind. Like you need at least 3 cubic feet, so 3 by 3 by 3, right? I'm going to expand that to about 4 by 4 by 4, and I'm going to do 3 versions of that. So what you'll do is, let's say I have all this material behind me. You see this tree here I actually chopped down to build the coop. And what you'll do is you'll grind that down. I'll build 1 4 by 4 by 4 bin worth of composting material, which is fresh. It's like turning right away.
Mm-hmm.
And as that starts to go, I will then move it down the row once it starts to finish off a little bit more, because it takes some time to really break down, because I'll have more material that I'll need to put in. So it's basically like an early, middle, late sort of system where by the time you get to the end, that stuff's ready to go. It's cooled down a bit. It's active still, but it's not as super hot as you would have if you were just making it out of chicken droppings. So it's sort of finished compost.
Gotcha. So that makes sense, because again, talking to the experts, when you're deep littering inside your hen house, it's an anaerobic state. It actually doesn't allow certain microbes to thrive that thrive with oxygen, which keeps it from getting hot.
If you're going like over 6 inches deep, you're going 12 inches deep, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when you bring that out and make it an aerobic state compost, it continues to break it down so it's ready for your plants. So a question we get a lot is, when do you take the chicken droppings to when you're growing something in this situation with all the gardening you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, my understanding, I've used chicken manure, but it's been like in a bag that you've bought from a store, right? So at that time, you're assuming it's already sort of cold, it's less active right away. my assumption is you just work it through the composting system. It becomes a percentage of your overall compost mixture, and then that goes in, and you still have that high nitrogen from the chicken manure and probably a lot of bioactivity too. But it's not just straight up fresh compost,
Right. So
which you certainly could use. I just think you'd have to use it with a hardy plant that could take that.
Okay, so I'm glad you
know?
mentioned that, because one time a little while ago, someone mentioned where you can take your chicken droppings straight to the mulch bed around your trees.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. Now, I noticed, I don't know if we can get Wi-Fi over there. So many questions I have about what you got going on. And I love the orchard you have in the front.
Yeah.
But are those all fruit trees?
Those are all fruit trees. Yeah, it's all citrus right now. Yeah, all citrus. So and they're planted really close together, which is a no-no technically, because citrus can grow really big. But my goal, and which is kind of a weirdo idea that we'll see if it works or not,
Love it.
is they're 4 feet apart, and what I'll do is I'll grow them up and prune them in a way where they sort of form a fat wall. So they sort of grow almost together, and so what you'll see over the seasons is you'll see a wall instead of like the rest of the neighborhood, because we're in a suburb here. And then what you'll also see is successive ripening of different fruits, 10 to 14 different citrus over the years, just to be peppering that whole wall. So that's the idea. But yeah, I've heard that you could take fresh droppings, throw it under a mulch bed, because the combination of the soil, then the droppings, and then the wood chip mulch on top, high carbon, that's a good mixture to help break it down quicker.
Yeah, I've been told it's 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. Does that sound right?
If you're talking like the classic composting recipe, then yeah, it's 30 to 1.
I would love to know who in the hell can figure that out.
You know what? And I've said before, and we're making a bunch of composting videos on the channel this year, is you really don't need to follow that too accurately. Because here's the thing to think about. Everything that you put in there has its own carbon to nitrogen ratio. So something you say is a brown, using browns and greens with composting, right? Something that's a brown is supposed to be high in carbon. It still has nitrogen in it, so it still has its own CN ratio. So you kind of, if you were trying to be perfect, which I'm certainly never will be, you'd be like, okay, well the cardboard has this much, and the eggshells have this much, and the chicken poop has this much, and just go. I try to go 2 to 1 brown to greens, so 2 to 1 carbon and nitrogen, generally speaking, tends to work.
So that makes good sense. And then we did talk a little bit about yesterday, coming back to the deep litter system on the chicken coop, how much we love industrial hemp, and that is pH neutral, and it's a greener material versus, and I just saw some questions come up about pine shavings and mulching.
Yep.
So we'll definitely get to that. And again, if you have questions about anything chickens, gardening, now's the time to ask. I'm sure you guys already recognize this guy. If you're just joining us, is Kevin from Epic Gardening, Epic Homesteading. Hopefully it's okay I use all those name drops.
Please do.
He called us, God, was it last spring?
Might have been last year sometime.
So Matt, we love your chicken coop. So we sent it out to him, and behind the scenes when you're doing all your reels, I saw his coop was still up against the wall, not getting finished.
Yeah.
And it just happened to work out really well that my team was already out in California. We got delayed on a coop going out to Arizona, so they said, yeah, why not come down to San Diego?
Yeah, no, I was very, very grateful, because I saw the guys put this thing together. Even though, this is what was crazy for me. If you were watching, you don't have a Carolina yet, or any coop from you guys, it was fascinating to just receive it. The receiving process was fascinating, because you guys build a custom pallet. You build a contraption almost that sort of carries the whole coop, and each of these pieces it's not totally assembled, because that'd be the whole coop, but like this wall was assembled, right? And we were sort of undoing it and unscrewing all these pieces and discovering like the Jenga or the Tetris that you guys have done to like make this coop. It was fascinating. But yeah, as soon as I got that apart, I was like, okay, this is not so bad. I've got the instructions, I'll put it together, and then life gets in the way. And then watching these guys come through and put it together, I was like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have done that myself. They were on another level. So
yeah, they do it day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I tell you, and this is the second coop that we've ever had to hand paint. I'm very impressed how fast they're getting it put together. And it's going really well. So we'll definitely, hopefully, they said they're going to finish it. We have a little poll going on our Instagram. Will they get it done? Everyone's voting in favor that they will get it done. I am ticked they're not here yet. I don't know what's going on. I know what they're going to say. They'll be like, well, we know you had your video chicken. We didn't want to be in your way. We got to give them some harassment when they get here.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right. So appreciate that. Now, something we talked about yesterday that I wanted to share with you guys out there. That you don't see a lot, but this is very doable, and I am a huge fan of why not, when you're homesteading or having all kinds of gardens, whatever, you're going to introduce chickens in this case, put them on the payroll, put them to work. And if you don't already know this, when you got all this beautiful gardening, actually let's walk over here and talk about this a little bit and see if
Put it up on the roof.
Yeah, we're going up on the roof, guys.
There we go.
Here we go.
It won't hold. It won't hold. We don't want to lose the MacBook here.
Yeah, that would suck. So what I was going to say is, we talked about chunnels, and if you've never heard of chunnels, they're tunnels for chickens. Actually, you know what? Maybe.
Let's put it there. Yeah.
No.
I'll share
we
sort
are
of my.
screwed. Yeah.
I'll share sort of my idea. Maybe put on that rain barrel there. That might work. So my idea, Matt, and I told you this yesterday, was what if, because I've got a 6x18 coop, 6x12 indoor run, right? Which that can hold, I believe it's 10.8 chickens, which I'm not going to have the 0.8, but I'll have the 10 maybe.
Well, bantams don't count.
Bantams don't count. So maybe I'll toss a couple bantams in there. But what I was telling Matt is I was like, hey, not only do I want this indoor run, but this space we're standing on right here, maybe another 6x18, I'll build a little fence. I'll do some cane crops or some blueberries or something around that.
Oh.
So it's a natural fence. And then I even want, what if I had them channel out through one of these pathways into that open area over there, which is more sort of the free range zone. Cover crops are there, potatoes, wheat, whatever. And I'm not so concerned about the chickens picking through that. I am here because we're making videos about this stuff.
They will tear that up.
We can't have that. But over there, if I had a channel to go out this way and like an open pen or something like that, that'd be crazy. And then what they're doing is they're fixing my soil for free and giving me eggs for it.
It's just
and
that
as
simple.
a gardener, I'm not having chickens just to get the eggs. They got to do some work.
Yeah, we don't want freeloaders.
No, exactly.
So it's really going to be that simple. So I can't wait when you do that. And of course, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help you out. But it's super easy. Don't overthink it. I know a lot of people, when they get into this, their minds are just blown. And you know, I don't want to scare people thinking this is impossible. It's so easy. It is so easy. Just have the right coop and then just use some common sense. And it is so much fun watching these chickens work. When we had lunch yesterday, I was telling you about you have a lot of mulch here, which mulch is great for gardening, and you'll have a lot of fun. Just dump it. Don't spread it. Let the chickens come out, and they'll have that leveled off in like an hour or two perfectly. You would have swore your bill on landscapers just went up or something.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I'm so excited. I mean, there's going to be so much just fun that happens here in the backyard with the chickens. I'm super excited for it.
So we talked a lot about chicken breeds yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jacques. What's going on, Jacques? We're live. We're video chicken. So again, I don't remember Jock's title, but we're just a good guy.
We call him the garden hermit here.
Yeah, that's the official title.
Until I get chickens, Jacques living in the coop. It's actually the truth.
Nice.
I brought a pillow.
So we had some technical difficulties this morning, so that's why I'm actually going live on my laptop, but it seems to be working. I know it's got to be shaking, and if you're just joining us, we are live in San Diego, California, talking to Kevin from Epic Gardening, and now Jacques just showed us up. And Jacques, you have your own channel now too.
Yes,
What
that's right.
What is your channel?
Jacques in the garden.
Jacques in the garden.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, what are you doing on your channel?
I'm kind of doing similar stuff, but I like to get a little bit more into the weeds, so to say. So I like to get into like the details.
Oh, okay.
Like the background, more expanded.
Yeah, because we're working on your PhD, so you're one of those very educated people.
Yeah, that's right.
Love it.
Smart man.
I love
He's a
smart
man.
people.
Hey, look, we got Kristen says, "Hey, garden hermit."
Garden hermit, yeah. All right, so we do have some questions. You guys want to have me scroll
Let's
through some
go.
questions?
Yeah, let's see some questions.
All right, let's do it.
I might have some questions too. I don't know if I don't have any answers for you, Matt.
All right. And I tell you, I do kind of like the lower angle
It's a good vibe.
because I
Yeah.
don't look so short.
Yeah.
Also, you
you
can
actually
see
look like
our,
a giant there.
You can see our winter sky here.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Oh, the
Can't
weather.
hold.
The weather here is amazing. All right. So, guys, if you have your questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. Anything about chickens, especially gardening, and the combination of chickens and gardening, which can be the chickens and the composting. We just talked about the channels. So I'm going to change up screens here. Let's see what happens here. All right. So that won't work because... All right. So I can't show off your comments, which I normally like to do. And
Just call them out though.
we're just going to call them out. And don't forget, just a reminder, later today, we're going to do a video rapid fire. Now, will that be recorded and then uploaded?
That'll be on my main channel, Epic Gardening.
Nice,
Yep,
gotcha.
yep.
So, and that will probably come out.
Maybe next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so make sure you guys see that. He's going to put me in the hot seat. I love being in the hot seat. All right, so the first question is, will they finish the coop today? It's not looking like it. I knew I was going to win this bet. They're not here. Not sure where they are. All right, and I'm glad the audio is working well. Okay, so I know you guys talk about keeping chickens in cold weather. What would you recommend for hot weather in Arizona? Can I get into 120 degree range? Can it get into 120 degree range? So I'm glad you brought that up, Jonathan. Actually, my team, once they're finished up here, they're going to Arizona. We're going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, putting a coop together. And I can tell you, when it comes to keeping chickens, all right, heat is what stresses and kills chickens. It's not the cold. So many people, especially my Southeast customers, obsess over keeping the chickens warm in the winter. They just don't know what cold is.
Yeah.
It's all about blocking the wind chill. They can handle cold temperatures, and we talk about all the time. It is imperative that you got two parts of your coop. You got the hen house and you got the run. All that is important is that the temperature is the same when they transition from the hen house to the run. All right, so that's just kind of addressing the whole opposite side of that question when it comes to the cold. Now, when it comes to the heat, you got to make sure chickens can cool themselves down. And what do chickens do before coops were invented? They will actually go into the shaded area, especially being a woodland animal, and they want to dig down into that soil where it's cooler and put those hot bellies right on that soil, and they'll help release that heat. It'll help cool them down. It's just that simple. And the reason why I want to emphasize that to you folks is even yesterday when we went live, people are like, well, why don't you put screen underneath the entire run? The worst thing you can ever do for chickens. They don't want to live on screen. They don't want to live on concrete. They don't want to live on the beach, even putting in sand. People say, yeah, put sand in the run. No. When it comes to the run, mimic the forest floor. It's that simple. So again, getting back to Arizona, with our coops, because we have a solid roof over the entire run, and especially if you can't free range, that's the canopy of the forest, providing that shade, of course, keeping them safe from predators. That alone is going to help keep them cooler. And then when it comes to the hen house, especially at night, our hen houses have ventilation, cross ventilation on all four sides, and they can breathe. They don't just keep building up in heat like a pressure cooker. So that's absolutely critical. And I can tell you, we have a lot of coops in Arizona, knock on wood, never have problems.
Yeah, I'll say, like what we did in the summer when it got a little hot, maybe you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. But we did research. What we did is we put out things like frozen, like pumpkin, like cold treats, and then we also got like a little mister system. And we put an umbrella for shade. But they were digging in the dirt. That's really what they wanted to do to cool off.
I was on a trip recently. It was in a hotter area, and that's what half these. They had 30 chickens, and all of them were putting their bellies just directly in the ground, like they were ground level. Their head was ground level, like a groundhog popping out. And I was going to ask you. Someone asked me about that mister idea. It was said like you really need to add misters in there, and you need to do this. And I don't know if that's true or not. So what do you think?
We got a little mister, but we only used it on the days where it got like over 90, which is, for here, it's actually kind of rare.
So my thought to that is, you just got to use common sense.
Yeah.
You never want a wet problem. You'd rather have a dry problem. But as long as, it's just like watering your garden. You don't want to overwater something, and I think you have root rot or something like that. Just use common sense. You don't want to turn it into a muddy, messy area. And because we're so passionate as human beings and we're thinking about the chickens like humans are, we just keep adding whatever it is that we think is going to help them when actually we make things worse. So I would say it probably wouldn't hurt to add a misting system because that can naturally help cool the air down, taking the heat out. But I don't know if it would make that big of a difference to really help the chickens. Now, frozen treats, I got to imagine just from doing it myself, and I have so many people out there, and you see a lot of videos, the chickens go nuts for it. So there must be something good going on there. If you guys have any tips or comments about that, about frozen treats, definitely leave them down below. All right, so moving on here. Does your coops have any hole for ventilation close bottom so that cold air can escape out, doesn't stay trapped under the bottom? I'm not quite understanding that question. If you can rephrase that.
I think what they're asking is, so the floor is solid, and they're thinking in the sense that cold air sinks. So they're saying if it's really cold, if there's a hole, the cold air can escape. But it really, I think it'll just equalize. I think we're kind of dodging it either way because it's ventilated. Like, I think the important thing, you could correct again, is that they like ventilation, but they don't like drafts, but they don't mind being cold.
Yes, they have to have ventilation. They don't. You just said it exactly.
Yeah, okay.
There's a big difference between drafts where the window's open and it's blowing cold air on you in the middle of the winter while you're trying to sleep in bed and you've got a blanket. That's a draft. But believe it or not, even our homes that we built still have to have some air escape. I've seen some new homes that they seal them so tight that they trap moisture and actually have all kinds of mold issues. You actually got to have a certain amount of ventilation, and our coops just do it regularly. So hopefully that helped you in that question. And moving on here, can you use old pine shaving from the coop in your garden? All right, so I got the garden experts. Can you use old pine shavings from your coop in your garden?
I mean, I'm going to say yeah, because what was interesting is people will say pine, and specifically pine needles, are so acidic that they're going to get the pH of the soil too low, and it's going to ruin the garden. Well, first of all, most veggies want an acidic pH lower than 7. Second of all, unless it's a fresh pine needle, the acidity is actually quite neutral. It's like closer towards a 7. So it doesn't really matter in that argument. And then besides that, if you're using pine shavings that have gone through the litter system, I feel like it's just even better than using normal pine shavings.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my personal thought on it right now is that I've been pulling out any extra shavings. So they are composting as they're sitting in there, but the top layer, of course, still has some fresh manure. So to avoid spreading fresh manure in the garden, what I'm actually in the process, I'll probably do it this weekend, is clean out my deep litter, which is now about 6 months old. And
How
it is
deep is
pine
it?
shavings. Right now it's about, I'd say it's maybe up to here.
Yeah.
But some parts are more caved in.
Yeah.
But basically what we're gonna do is scoop that all out and compost it. I'm gonna just basically set it aside. I'll probably add in a bunch of plant matter to help heat it up again.
Yeah.
And let it cook for like another 3 to 6 months.
This is fascinating. I tell you, this
Because
whole
it's
world.
the pathogen deal,
Yeah.
right?
You know
Like
what
it
I've
shouldn't
thought?
really be a problem, but it's just kind of an
Yeah.
extra safety concern.
What I thought, Jock, and maybe Matt, you have a perspective here, is you take your deep litter system and you take it out, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're going to work it through compost. Like we were just
Yeah,
talking about
exactly.
that. And then I was thinking, what if you inoculated it with like fungi or bacteria to help speed that up even further? It should already be there, but what
Right.
if you had there's a product called a compost starter,
Yeah.
right? Where if you have
Sure.
dead compost, you throw it in and the bacteria
Heats it up.
starts to propagate. Shouldn't that speed it up even more?
It should
Thought.
speed it up.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't eat any on the freshly manure. Like
Yeah.
if it's like an eating mushroom, I would probably still avoid it just because of that cross-contamination issue.
Yeah.
But really, I think it is composted already,
Mhm.
and adding that extra, that's why I was thinking the same line, is if I add in a bunch of green matter,
Yeah.
it'll heat up again, and then the compost starter again
I was like,
will
man,
kick
you
it
could
up.
start mushrooms out of that.
Oh
thing,
yeah,
you know?
like once it's like, especially once it's sat for a bit,
Yeah.
because like I think normally composted chicken manure, like straight composted chicken manure that you buy, I think is composted for like maybe even a year.
Yeah.
Quite
quite a
Wait,
while.
I thought mushrooms only grew underneath cow manure.
they
Mushrooms will grow in all sorts of different environments.
That was supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
Anyways, woo! No, I tell you, that is fascinating. All right, so what you guys are saying is it is okay to use pine shavings. I'm glad you brought up the acidic level because we hear a lot that, and this is why we love the industrial hemp, is it's pH neutral,
Yeah.
allowing, and I have to believe that's why it does such a good job at not just absorbing the ammonia, but it just keeps that smell down without having to have so much material.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we're talking about industrial hemp, and like, yes, I get it's a little bit more expensive up front,
Yeah.
but when you add in your time, which you'll have less time adding to it because that hemp lasts so much longer, people have said that even the pine shavings you have to use more to have the same efficacy as you would with industrial hemp.
Yeah.
You
But
have
it's
to add a lot.
yeah, so it's good to know that it can be done. I know a lot of people have done it. I've done it. So I guess it just really comes down to understanding where that product may eventually go, because you mentioned some plants
Sure.
do like a little bit on the high side with being acidic.
Yeah.
I will say that I am interested in the hemp just because it breaks down faster. Because it is wood shavings, like the pine shavings is wood, so that's just going to take longer to break down.
That's what made me go with the mushroom idea. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, the mushroom should
Right.
destroy that wood.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a question here. What do you use to create a chunnel?
That's a good question because I have the idea of a channel. I don't know how to make it. So, steaks and chicken wire, or
Yeah,
what would
maybe
you
little
do?
hoops.
So what most people do is they use a fencing material and they just kind of hoop
Oh,
it
okay.
and
Yeah.
just stake it right in the ground. What I would do is cut a line of that wire off, making fingers. All right, and you just stick those fingers right in the ground, and you
Yeah.
could use sod staples hammering them down. But, and here's
Yeah.
something I didn't mention yesterday. When you were asking me about why do we use the half-inch hardware cloth, yes, it looks good, it's going to last forever. But the other thing is, being that it's half-inch by half-inch, you can have hawks, which are a very notorious daytime predator. When your chickens are out on the run, try to get a hold of them and pull them through, even a
Oh,
one
wow.
by one. With the half-inch by half-inch, they can't, along with raccoons. Now, when we talk about chicken tunnels, think about that. If
Yeah.
we're using our regular fencing material like 2x3, which is something I would think immediately would be a great
Yeah.
tunnel, that's too big of an opening.
They'll pull them.
Ex-
They'll mess with them.
Exactly.
Right?
So I tell you what, I have never mastered the chicken tunnel.
Yeah.
Or the chunnel. So those are just some things I would think about.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a flagship test here at the
I
homestead.
think that would be
Yeah.
great. So you want to make sure the hawks can't reach through, but you also got to make sure it's tough enough that the other big problem with daytime predators are dogs. Your
Yeah.
neighborhood dog coming in there, and dogs are just being dogs. So
What about cats? Do cats mess with chickens too much or
not
not really?
really.
Really? Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
It's a little too big.
But I know I'm gonna get comments down below. You don't understand my cat. I got a killer cat. Kristen, our chicken expert, she had a killer cat. And it can happen, but it's not as common as dogs.
Sure.
All right, so moving on. All right, so we're at 10 o'clock West Coast, so that makes it 1 o'clock East Coast. So, and I am about 54% battery. And if you guys, well, let's just finish up these comments
Yeah.
and we can wrap it up.
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
do
cool?
it. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right, awesome. So again, if you're just joining us, you have any questions or comments, we are live in San Diego, California.
Oh, it looks like Ingrid's saying you can just use fencing wire and bend and use soil staples, sod staples.
yeah.
Yeah, basically what you said. Yep, totally.
Matt, you have the new shades too. What? I don't know what that means. So look at the road crew finally showed up. Where have you guys been?
For the elevator.
Waiting for the what? So I told you that's what they would say. Excuses. Always excuses. So here's the road crew. There's AV. There's AVJ. That is AV's offspring right there, doing an amazing job. I am quite impressed. It's got to be all the tattoos. And then, of course, we heard Sean somewhere. He's around here somewhere.
It is a shocker that he did have some guys that did swim.
Okay, anyway, so moving on.
Getting feisty.
We have a huge raccoon problem. How would you make sure they didn't get into the chunnel? So actually, a great question. That's what we're just talking about. Here's the thing. Chickens are not meant to be in the chicken tunnels at night when
Yeah.
raccoons are active, being a nocturnal
They should be in
creature.
the hen house.
Yep.
They should be in the hen house. So I wouldn't worry about it. However, especially out here in California, I hear some crazy things. You got predators, especially coyotes.
I drove down the street a couple months ago, right out there, coyote, 3 to 4 p.m., walking right down the middle of the road.
Not supposed to be.
Yeah, not
And
supposed to be.
So once again, us humans, we screw everything up, and it's something that's not supposed to happen. So again, you shouldn't have raccoons around your chicken tunnels during the daytime. If you do, you have a much bigger problem. I would say at that point you have to. Don't hate me for this, okay? But just going back to my bug days, once a pest or a predator learns something, you have to remove that predator or that pest from the equation.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying.
I've thought about that because I do have raccoons and they've been destroying my garlic. Obviously just at night, so it's not getting to the daytime problem. I bought some humane traps, some live catch, which turns out, at least in California, I'm not allowed to do that. So I didn't know that, but let's just say I'm not gonna do it. But that's the solution that I've come up with.
I would
Yeah.
add on to that and just say, like, if I were to do a channel system, I would probably have a automatic door to the channel, so that would only open at a specific time that's later
That's a
in
good
the day.
idea. So it can never fail.
Yeah, so there's an automatic door on the hen house, that's every night, and then an automatic door on the channel that only maybe opens from like 12 to 4 or something like that, so that you know. I mean, well, maybe not 4 because you want to make sure they get back.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna
But
mention
like,
that.
I would make it open later in the day, so that that morning, just in case period is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so to that point is why you're gonna love. Where is it? Can someone grab me our chicken door? Let's do a little promotion of a product that there's a lot
I'm
of
stoked on this door.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are gonna love it. There's a lot of automatic doors out there. We have tried a lot of them. I can't say I've tried all of them. And the one that we sell, you can see it right at carolinacoops.com, we love because it just works. It's very simple. It's 4 AA batteries. It's made in England. It's not American made, so I apologize about that. But check this out. This is the chicken door that we sell. And what Jacques just said is so important and why we love this little mechanism right there, because there's a photo cell, okay, that you can program it so that the door opens and closes based on the sun. Or if you got some of those pesky nighttime predators hanging out early in the morning, you don't want your chickens to go out too early, you can tell this in the morning by setting a time not to open till like noon. However, if we all remember Rocky 2 trying to catch a chicken, right? Grease lightning. Use the photo cell to let it close at night, and chickens always come back to roost. 99.999% of them. I know some of my YouTube chicken police out there, no, I got a chicken that just goes up to the tree. Okay, I'm sorry, but most of them. Now, I love that you mentioned that because we have on your coop, if you haven't seen already,
Yeah.
let's go over here real quick, just kind of change up the scene. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the
Got our
show.
little run door here.
Yes.
Oh, there is one.
Yeah, so there's the frame. I feel like I'm flying a helicopter. There's a frame right there that your automatic door will go on.
Yeah.
We just have to make a decision. Do you want it on the inside? Do you want it on the outside? And there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, you could take your, well, so you'll have your yard out here.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you calling it that you're going to put to make the walls of the fence?
Well, I was thinking indoor run, outdoor run.
Yeah.
Out here. Yeah. I don't know exactly what I'm going to make the fence out of yet, though.
Oh, you keep saying bamboo something?
Oh
or
no, I was gonna do cane crops. So like,
What is cane crops?
Cane crops are like your raspberries, your blackberries, your boysenberries, because I figure even if I get thornless, they create a nice natural wall, and like that fresh fruit for the chickens probably they're gonna love.
Companion planting.
Yeah.
The sun's gonna be. Oh, okay. I got you. I thought
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that was a building material I have never seen before. So trying to get everyone in the shot
Might
here.
also be that. We'll see what we build it out of. You know, we'll see what we
Yeah,
build it out of.
to be determined.
It might be like stakes plus wire plus the plants growing into that. We'll see.
Gotcha. Well, we can't wait to see it. All right, it is 1:03, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. Kevin from Epic Gardening, Jacques from, what was it called again?
Jacques in the garden.
Jacques in the Garden. Go check that out. And if you guys are watching this later on, still leave your questions and comments down below, and Ingrid will hopefully answer all your questions and comments. So we're going to leave you from San Diego, California. It's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Stay safe.